You got Charles's file back there. I need it, now!
That information is protected by federal law, officer. I can't release anything without a signed authorization.
He's a kid in trouble. You want to be the one standing in the way?
I want to follow the law, just like you swore to. Please step back.
Don't tell me how to do my job.
And I'll keep doing it.
Racist cops stormed into a quiet hospital pharmacy at 2 a.m. and tried to arrest a black woman for doing her job that he yelled in her face, shoved at the counter, and called her uncooperative and one of those difficult types. But what they didn't know is that this soft-spoken pharmacist, the woman they mocked, threatened, and tried to humiliate, was a decorated federal officer, a woman with the highest clearance in the building, and when her badge finally came out, the entire hospital stopped breathing. Stick around because what happened next changed lives, careers, and an entire city. Before we continue, make sure you subscribe to the channel and drop a comment telling us where you're watching from. Now let's jump right into this insane story. Open the damn records now. Officer Brent Mallory's voice blasted through the pharmacy window like a gunshot. The night was quiet. Machines hummed. A soft overhead light glowed against polished shelves, but Mallory, tall, balding, sweaty, and furious, stood inches away from the glass divider that separated the pharmacy from the hallway. And he wasn't just angry that he looked ready to explode. Across from him, Dr. Tiana Merriweather stood still. Calm. Hands folded. Face steady. Her voice was low. Officer Mallory, you don't have clearance for patient files. Please step back. Mallory slammed his fist on the counter so hard a bottle rattled. You people don't tell me what to do, he sneered. You people. Nurse Lila Gomez, standing behind him, froze, her heart raced. She quietly reached into her scrub pocket and started secretly recording. This was already getting dangerous. To most people, Dr. Tiana Merriweather looked like a calm, ordinary pharmacist. Simple ponytail, dark blue scrubs, plain white sneakers, clean round glasses. Most nights she barely spoke above a whisper. But her quiet look hid a long, heavy story. She grew up on the south side of Richmond, a tiny brick apartment over a barber shop. Went to public school. Walked to class in winter with a coat missing buttons. Worked 3 jobs during pharmacy school: cashier, tutor, overnight stalker. Her old car outside, a beat-up maroon sedan with one silver door, didn't help the image. People assumed things when they saw her. But there was a piece of her life no one at the hospital knew. Before she ever became Dr. Merriweather, she had already lived an entire lifetime in silence and shadows. A war hero. A special federal operative. A woman with a record so classified that the files didn't even show her name. She chose this quiet life. She chose peace. But tonight, someone was pushing her back toward the world she tried to leave behind. Mallory leaned in so close she felt his breath. Listen, he growled. My buddy's son is sick. I want his file. Now, don't make this difficult. Tiana stayed still. I can't break the law for anyone. Not even police. Mallory smirked. Police, he said. Sweetheart, I am the law. He pointed a thick finger at her face. And if you weren't hiding behind this counter, you'd be in cuffs already. Tiana inhaled slowly. That she'd heard that tone all her life. The tone of a man who thought authority made him untouchable. Officer, please step back, she said again. He didn't move. Instead, he lowered his voice. You're being real uppity tonight. Real bold for someone working the night shift at a drug table. He said the words like she wasn't human at all. Lila's hand trembled around her phone. Mallory pushed further, crowding into her space. You people think rules protect you, he muttered. But when I say jump, you jump. Tiana stepped back only because he leaned so far forward she could smell stale coffee on his breath. You're obstructing a lawful investigation, Mallory barked. There is no investigation, she replied. Don't argue with me, he snapped. I can arrest you. All it takes is one charge. Interference. Disorderly conduct. Hell, I could say you tried to hit me. Who would they believe? You. He pointed at her chest. A black woman with an attitude? The room froze. Even the air didn't dare move. Mallory pulled out his handcuffs and let them dangle dramatically. The metal jingled like a threat. Tiana stayed calm. Unblinking. He grinned. That's what I thought. You're scared now, aren't you? She wasn't. But she wasn't trying to fight him either. She was calculating, watching, letting him talk. Men like Mallory always told on themselves. He leaned over the counter again, nearly climbing on top of it. Last chance, he said. Open the damn records or you're spending tonight in jail. Lila whispered under her breath. This is wrong. This is so wrong. Mallory heard her and wheeled around. You recording me? He snapped. Lila's heart stopped. No. Give me the phone. He grabbed her wrist hard. she yelped in pain. Tiana stepped forward instantly. Let her go, officer. Mallory looked over his shoulder, smiling in a twisted, mocking way. Or what? He squeezed Lila's wrist tighter, making her bend. She works under me, Tiana said, voice like stone. Let her go. Or what? He repeated again, taunting. You gonna call your supervisor? Your manager? What's next? You gonna cry? He laughed. Women like you always cry. Tiana didn't move, didn't shout, didn't break, but her eyes changed. They went still, cold, focused, the way a surgeon looks before a cut, the way a sniper looks before a breath. Lila saw it. She stopped trembling. Tiana walked out from behind the pharmacy divider with slow, measured steps. Her hands stayed visible. Come, open. No fear. Officer Mallory, she said softly, you need to leave. He burst out laughing. Or you'll do what? Dose me with cough syrup? He shoved his badge in her face. You see this? This means you listen to me. Tiana reached into her pocket. Mallory scoffed. Go ahead. Call security. They love me here. But Tiana wasn't pulling out a phone. She pulled out a small black leather case. She flipped it open. Mallory went silent. Because inside wasn't a hospital ID. It was a badge he had never seen before. A deep blue emblem, a golden eagle clutching 3 stars, a serial number engraved into the metal with surgical precision. A federal badge. Not police, not state, not even FBI. A level above him. Above most agencies. Mallory stared at it, confused, lips parting slowly. What is that? He demanded, voice cracking. Tiana didn't raise it, didn't flash it, didn't boast. She held it low, near her hip, like something sacred. Officer Mallory, she said quietly, step away from my staff member. For the first time all night. Mallory stepped back. What kind of badge is that? He whispered. He tried to laugh it off, but his voice shook. That's fake. That's gotta be fake. It's not, Lila said, rubbing her wrist. I've never seen her look like that. Mallory blinked hard that he suddenly seemed smaller. Sweat gathered at his temple. You're lying, he muttered. This is a trick. Tiana said nothing. She simply placed the badge on the counter between them. The eagle gleamed under the pharmacy lights. You threatened me with false arrest, she said. You assaulted my nurse. You demanded access to sealed medical files. You attempted to coerce a federal officer into breaking the law. The words were gentle, but they hit like hammer strikes. Mallory's mouth opened, but no sound came out. Lila kept recording. Mallory's face drained of color. You're a Fed? Tiana didn't answer. She didn't have to. Mallory's hands shook that he clicked his cuffs closed, trying to hide them that he wiped sweat off his face. This is a misunderstanding, he stammered. You should have told me. I did, she replied. I told you to step back. Look, ma'am, doctor, agent, whatever you are, let's just calm down. But he was the only one panicking. Tiana remained still. Quiet. Unbroken. Somewhere down the hall, footsteps approached. Another officer shouted, Mallory, Chief wants you outside right now. He froze. Tiana lifted her badge from the counter. You will answer to your department, she said. And to mine. Mallory swallowed hard. Then he backed away from the counter, away from Tiana, away from the truth he never saw coming. And as he turned the corner, dozens of hospital staff stared at him. Stared at his shame. Stared at the woman he tried to break. And stared at the power he never knew she held. The hallway outside the pharmacy felt colder than before, like the building itself knew something massive had just cracked open. Officer Brent Mallory stood frozen, sweating through his uniform, staring at the floor like it could swallow him if he prayed hard enough. His radio buzzed again. Mallory. Chief said now. He flinched. Behind him, nurses peeked from behind half-closed doors. A janitor paused with his mop. A security guard stared openly, eyebrows raised. A patient in a wheelchair looked him up and down with disgust. Mallory felt like the whole world was watching him crumble. Because they were. And Tiana Merriweather, the woman he mocked, threatened, tried to humiliate. She stood at the pharmacy door, calm as moonlight. Not smiling, not gloating. Just existing with a power he never imagined. Mallory tried to gather himself. Tried to pull his shoulders back. Tried to slow his breathing. But every step he took felt heavy, like his boots were filled with concrete. He grabbed his radio. Dispatch, he said, voice shaking. Tell Chief I'm on my way. His hand trembled so hard he dropped the radio. A nurse gasped. Lila Gomez, still recording, whispered, "He's falling apart." Mallory snapped at her, "Turn that off." But he no longer had the tone of a bully. Now he sounded like prey. Heavy footsteps echoed down the hall. Richmond Police Chief Harold Dunham, tall, sharp-jawed, gray hair buzzed close, walked with the stiff, angry stride of a man who had been woken from sleep for something stupid. Behind him, 2 sergeants, a hospital security supervisor, and a young officer who looked terrified. When Dunham reached Mallory, he didn't even say hello. "What the hell did you do?" Mallory stuttered. "Chief, listen, I can explain." "No," Dunham growled. "You'll explain to Internal Affairs. Right now, you'll explain to me." The chief turned to Tiana, and his entire demeanor changed. His voice softened. His eyes widened. "Agent Merriweather," he said, straightening his uniform, I had no idea you were here tonight." Half the hallway gasped. Mallory's face sagged like wet clay. "Agent?" he whispered. What do you mean, agent?" Tiana didn't answer. She didn't need to. Dunham stepped toward her with calm respect. "Ma'am, are you hurt? Is your staff member hurt? Do you need a medic?" Lila whispered, "Oh my God." Mallory stumbled back, shaking his head. Chief, she's lying. That badge is fake. She's just a pharmacist." Dunham turned on him. "Shut your mouth." The chief's voice boomed through the hall. Mallory went silent instantly. Chief Dunham turned back to Tiana. "Agent, before you say anything, please know we will handle this. You don't need to involve your department unless you choose to." Mallory blinked rapidly. "Her department?" Dunham glared at him. "You idiot," he snapped. "Do you have any idea what you just did?" Mallory stuttered. I was just..." She refused to. "You threatened a federal officer," Dunham hissed, "and tried to coerce her into breaking medical privacy laws, while assaulting a nurse, and violating procedure. On camera." Mallory's whole body slumped. This was no longer fear. This was despair. Tiana stepped forward with slow, controlled steps. She handed her badge to Chief Dunham with respect. He looked at it, and his face tightened. Then he exhaled sharply, a man seeing something that instantly outranked him. "Level 6 clearance," he whispered under his breath. "Damn." Mallory heard it too. 6. Mallory gasped. No, that's impossible. Level 6 was the kind of clearance only given to operatives who handled national security, covert defense research, or classified military operations. To Mallory, it might as well have been royalty. He stammered, "Chief, you're kidding, right? She's just..." He couldn't even finish the sentence. Dunham jabbed a finger into his chest. "You just tried to strong-arm someone who could end your entire career with one phone call." Mallory felt his knees shake. He grabbed the wall to steady himself. Dunham faced Tiana again. "Agent Merriweather, please tell me exactly what happened." Tiana spoke calmly. "He demanded sealed patient files. I told him no. He escalated. He invaded my space. He made verbal threats. He attempted false arrest. He used racial language. Then he assaulted my nurse." Lila stepped forward, holding her phone. "I recorded everything," she said softly. "Ma'am, do you want me to send it to your agency?" Mallory gasped in horror. "Lila, please don't." But Lila didn't even look at him. For the first time, Mallory realized. No one was on his side. Not even himself. Chief Dunham turned toward the sergeants. "Sergeant Knox. Sergeant Bradley. Officer Mallory is to be relieved of duty immediately." Mallory staggered back. "What? Chief, please, I've served 21 years. I won Officer of the Year. Turn in your badge and weapon." Mallory shook his head. No, you can't do this. Not like this. Not in front of everyone." But that was exactly why Dunham did it. Injustice started in public. So justice would too. "Badge?" Dunham repeated. Mallory's hands shook violently as he unpinned it. His weapon belt hit the floor with a sad clatter. Someone quietly closed the door down the hall, like they couldn't stand to watch anymore. Mallory's eyes filled with tears. He turned desperately to Tiana. "I'm sorry," he choked. "Okay? I'm sorry. I was under stress. I didn't mean what I said. I didn't know." Tiana's voice was soft. "You shouldn't have needed to know who I was to treat me with respect." Mallory collapsed onto a chair. And for the first time in his life, he understood exactly how small he was. Chief Dunham stepped aside, giving room for Tiana to speak if she wished. She didn't yell, she didn't gloat, she didn't preach. She just looked at Mallory and said one sentence. "Power doesn't make you important. How you treat people does. The hallway went silent. Dead silent. Even Dunham lowered his head a little. Mallory cried quietly, but no one moved to comfort him. Not after what he'd done. Lila stepped beside Tiana. "Ma'am," she whispered, "are you okay?" Tiana finally exhaled, a slow, heavy breath she'd been holding for years. "I'm fine," she said softly. "But tonight reminded me why I left that world. Because of people like him?" Tiana shook her head gently. "No. Because peace is worth protecting. Even when chaos comes knocking." Lila wiped a tear from her face. The sergeants led Mallory away, hands behind his back, not in cuffs, but still framed like a man walking into his own ending. He didn't look back. Couldn't. Tiana watched him disappear down the hallway. And then she turned back to her pharmacy. Her world. Her peace. The life she chose. As she stepped inside, Tiana whispered to Lila, "Quiet strength is still strength." And the world finally knew it. If you made it to the end of this story, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and tell us in the comments. Do you think Officer Mallory deserved a second chance, or was justice served? Your thoughts matter. See you in the next story.